You are gifted with a sharp intellect and superior analytical skills. But why, after all the degrees and grand plans, are you still standing still? Warren Buffett once famously noted that investing is not a game where the person with a 160 IQ necessarily beats the person with a 130 IQ. Raw intelligence, when not paired with the courage to take action, acts as nothing more than a beautiful, golden prison for the soul and your potential. This video will explore why the most brilliant minds often get trapped in mediocrity while others with less talent somehow soar far ahead of the curve. We will dismantle the 4 invisible walls that confine your potential, starting with the heavy weight of your own thoughts and constant, endless internal reflections. Do you feel like your mind is a Ferrari engine stuck in a bicycle frame, revving loudly but never moving an inch forward in life? The first barrier is the most deceptive one, often disguised as careful planning or deep wisdom when it is actually a very heavy mental anchor. It is time to look beyond the glass walls of your own intellect and understand the hidden mechanics of your persistent stagnation and internal fear. Prepare to challenge everything you know about being smart as we enter the maze of the brilliant but stuck mind together right now. The first wall is analysis paralysis. Intelligent people often see too many risks, visualizing every possible failure before they even take the first humble step. They calculate down to the 100th variable while the initial action remains untouched, frozen by the sheer magnitude of their own detailed and complex projections. Like a tailor who measures the fabric 1,000 times but never dares to make the first cut. They are paralyzed by their own extreme precision. In the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius once urged us to stop debating what a good man is and simply be one today. Is your intellect acting as a powerful engine driving you forward? Or is it a heavy anchor holding you deep in the dark, cold sea? The more you know, the more you fear the unknown, creating a cycle of overthinking that drains the energy needed for actual physical and mental movement. Complexity is the enemy of execution. The brilliant mind loves complexity because it feels like progress, but it is often just a form of clever procrastination. Every second spent over analyzing a low-stakes decision is a second stolen from your future success and the growth that only comes through real-world experience. Break free from the need to know everything before you start. The map is never the territory, and the journey itself reveals the true path. Execution requires a certain level of strategic ignorance, a willingness to start before you feel fully ready or completely safe in your existing knowledge. Stop measuring and start cutting. The first wall falls only when the desire to act outweighs the fear of making a calculated, very minor mistake. The second wall is the illusion of perfect preparation. You tell yourself you are waiting for the right time, the right capital, or absolute stability. But perfection is the ultimate enemy of progress. It is a shield used by the ego to avoid the messiness of real-world application and failure. Warren Buffett does not wait for a perfect economic chart. He looks for intrinsic value and acts when the margin of safety is finally clear. Stoicism teaches us that the external world is inherently unpredictable. Your internal preparation must eventually meet this external chaos to matter or have value. Using preparation as a shield to avoid reality is a form of intellectual cowardice. It feels productive, but it results in absolutely zero actual output. You polish your ideas until they shine, but a polished stone that never builds a wall is just a pretty, useless object in your hand. The ripples of action are better than the stillness of a perfect plan. Movement creates its own momentum and clears the fog of uncertainty. Do not let the perfect version of your life prevent the good version from actually happening. Real life is lived in the rough drafts. An organized desk with no work produced is just a graveyard of intentions. Cleanliness is no substitute for the honest sweat of real labor. Break the mirror of perfectionism. Accept that your first attempts will be flawed, perhaps even embarrassing, but they are necessary steps toward greatness. The transition from preparing to doing is the hardest leap for the brilliant mind. It requires abandoning the safety of the theoretical world entirely. The third wall is the arrogance of knowledge. When you believe you know everything, you naturally stop listening to the world around you. You might understand the mathematical laws of gravity perfectly, yet you have forgotten the basic, clumsy effort required to actually walk on this earth. Epictetus famously said that it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Knowledge can become a heavy blindfold. Mediocrity flourishes when intellect turns into ego. You become more interested in being right than in being effective or learning something new from others. The most brilliant minds get stuck because they are too busy defending their existing theories instead of testing them against the harsh, unforgiving reality. Your degrees and past successes can become a cage. They convince you that you have nothing left to learn from the common person on the street. Real wisdom is the humility to realize how little you truly know. The world is changing faster than your textbooks can ever keep up with. Don't let your library become a mausoleum for your curiosity. Every day is an opportunity to be a beginner again in something completely new. Look at the world with fresh eyes, unburdened by the weight of your own expertise. Only then can you see the hidden opportunities around you. Empty your cup so that it may be filled. The arrogance of the expert is the final nail in the coffin of your own innovation. True mastery is found in the intersection of deep knowledge and the humble realization that you are always a student of life and its mysteries. The final wall is the nightmare of intellectual procrastination. Talented people often prefer solving problems in their heads rather than in the messy reality. They confuse mental busyness with actual productivity, running 1,000 miles on a treadmill while never actually leaving the starting room or making progress. Buffett spends his days reading, but when the moment of truth arrives, he decides in an instant and holds his position for many decades. That is not just intelligence, it is the iron discipline to escape the loop of abstract ideas and engage with the physical world effectively. Your brain loves the dopamine hit of a new idea, but it hates the friction and boredom of the long-term execution and maintenance phase. The world does not pay you for what you think, it pays you for the value you create through consistent, disciplined, and focused physical effort. Stop romanticizing the struggle of the misunderstood genius. Success is often the result of doing very boring things for a very long period of time. Forge your ideas into reality. The heat of the struggle is what turns a soft concept into a hard, unbreakable achievement in your life. Time waits for no one, not even the most brilliant thinker. While you ponder the meaning, others are building the future with simple bricks. Be like the wave that hits the rock repeatedly. It is not the strength of the mind, but the persistence of action that succeeds. The nightmare ends when you realize that a small, imperfect action today is worth more than a brilliant, perfect plan for a distant tomorrow. How do we break these four walls? Look to the Stoics. Focus only on what you can control, your own effort and your reactions. You cannot control the market or the opinions of others, but you can control the very next step you take with your own feet. Lower your expectations for immediate perfection and raise your standards for daily consistency. Brilliance is a spark, but discipline is the only true fuel. Don't try to be smarter than everyone else, simply try to be more disciplined. The world is full of smart, failed people in every corner. True intelligence is not measured by your IQ score, but by what you actually do after you have acquired the necessary and vital knowledge. Nurture your actions with the same care you give your thoughts. A single seed planted is better than 1,000 forests imagined in your mind. The path to greatness is paved with simple, repetitive actions. It is not glamorous, but it is the only way to reach the very top. Look at the horizon. The peak is reached one step at a time. Your mind wants to fly there, but your body must walk. Let your principles be your guide, not your fleeting emotions or your complex doubts. Stay the course despite the internal mental noise you hear. Flow like water around the obstacles of your own making. If you hit a wall of overthinking, simply move in another direction and keep going. You are the master of your actions. Reclaim the power of now from the tomorrow that your brilliant mind keeps promising you every single day. It is time to step out of your own ivory tower. Do not let your great intellect become a set of heavy, limiting chains. Allow yourself to be wrong, to be clumsy, and to be a beginner. But never, under any circumstances, allow yourself to stand perfectly still. The world does not reward the great brains hiding in dark rooms. It rewards those who bring their light into the reality of everyday life. Great achievements were built by people who were brave enough to start with nothing but a rough sketch and a very heavy iron hammer. Remember the courage of a child learning to walk. They do not analyze the physics of gravity. They simply get up and try again and again. Will you choose to be a brilliant failure, trapped in your own thoughts, or a resilient soul reaching the highest peaks through consistent effort? The choice is made in your very next movement, not in your next thought, but in the next physical action you take in the real world. Break the walls of analysis, perfectionism, arrogance, and procrastination. The door is open, but you are the only one who can walk through it. Action is the only true cure for mediocrity. It is the bridge between the world of knowing and the world of being who you are. Take a deep breath and let go of the need to be perfect. The world is waiting for your contribution, however flawed it might start. Your journey begins now, not with a thought, but with a step. What will you do today to finally set your brilliance completely free?